Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Gaming Foe here, back at it with another NBA video. Very upsetting today. I recorded the small forward tier list, and this recording did not save again. So I'm gonna take a break from that one. I recorded it 3 times and it didn't work. So let's just jump into the power forward ones. Definitely upset. I'll record it again, but it is what it is. Nemanja Bjelica is an average starter. He's a nice shooter. He can play make for the Kings. Really not a super defender. Really not much to say here. He's a valuable piece for them, but definitely not part of their future. Same thing with Julius Randle for the Knicks. Actually, he's not a nice shooter, but he can defend. He can play make a little bit. He's a nice scorer, but also not part of the Knicks' future. They'll probably move on from him. Trying to get a star if R.J. Barrett develops, if Mitchell Robinson develops, if their young core develops, he'll probably be out of town soon. Anthony Davis, MVP candidate. Not much to say here. Defensive Player of the Year. Incredible scorer. A nice shooter. He can play make. He can do everything you want. Anthony Davis is a one in a kind generational talent. He's an MVP candidate. Aaron Gordon is an average starter. I definitely think he's a little overrated. He's not a great scorer. He's not a great shooter. He can't really play make. He's like this nice defender. Definitely an incredible athlete. But Aaron Gordon, he's been a little bit overrated during his career. His dunk contests have obviously been crazy, and I'm really happy that he's in the NBA. But I can't really say that he's at that All-Star level. I know there's a small group of Orlando Magic fans that say that he's critically underrated. I disagree. Kristaps Porzingis is an all-star. I see his ceiling as an MVP candidate. Definitely has been coming on strong in the last couple of weeks of the season before it ended. Definitely a nice defensive player, obviously with all those blocks he gets. A nice scorer, a nice rebounder. He can play make a little bit. Really needs to improve his efficiency to achieve that MVP level. Maybe a little more scoring. Should be getting more rebounds considering his size. But Kristaps coming off that ACL tear, he's a really nice player. For the Mavericks, him and Luka, that pairing will be great for years to come. Taurean Prince is a below-average starter. Probably at the beginning of the season, he would have been in that average starter position, but he has not been hitting his threes, and that's really what hurts him the most. The Nets need him to shoot from those corners, and he has not been doing that very well. Paul Millsap is an average starter. A couple years ago in Atlanta, I believe, he was an all-star. He's definitely fallen off athletically a little bit. Not a great defender anymore. But he can still shoot. He can score. He grabs boards. That's really all he's asked of. Domantas Sabonis is an all-star. I know a lot of people weren't really happy with the selection, saying Zach LaVine should have been over him, Bradley Beal. But I actually like Domantas Sabonis. I love his rebounding. He's a great big man passer. Obviously a nice scorer, averaging 17 a game this year. He's been a huge reason that the Pacers have been relevant. Zion Williamson is an all-star level player. Obviously, didn't play the whole season and didn't make the All-Star team, but in just like the 20 games he did play, Zion has been going crazy. He's been dunking on everybody. He's been playing nice defense. Definitely needs to get into shape more if he wants to reach that MVP level. Needs to improve his jump shot. Other than that, yeah, he's an all-star for sure. Christian Wood's an average starter. He's had a really nice season. A lot of people saying that he was definitely a most improved candidate. I'm not sure if he's at that all-star level quite yet. Obviously his numbers are nice, but on the bad Pistons team, don't really know how much his scoring affects their winning. Lauri Markkanen, same thing actually as Christian Wood. Definitely a nice scorer, nice rebounder, but struggles with efficiency a little bit. I don't know how much his offense helps the Bulls win, as they're not very good this year. Pascal Siakam, obviously an all-star. Probably should have been an all-star last year too. Has the ball a lot more in his hand now that Kawhi Leonard's gone. His offense is nice. His defense is nice. He can shoot blistering, 36% from three at the top of the arc. That's really good for Pascal Siakam. His playmaking is coming along too. Definitely working with Kyle Lowry there. You can tell that his passing has improved steadily over the last couple of seasons. Robert Covington's an average starter. He's been like the Rockets' leading defender since the trade that sent him to the Rockets. He's a nice 3-and-D player. He's a little inefficient, but doesn't turn the ball over too much. He's a nice defender, and that's really all that he needs to be. Trey Lyles, I'm going to put at the scrub level. He's not that great, to be honest. He's definitely been a disappointment with the Nuggets. The Spurs are using him, but I don't really see him sticking in the NBA for too much longer. Mikal Bridges, interesting that he plays power forward, considering I see him more as a guard player. unless this is not Mikal Bridges, but I think it is. He's a below average starter. He's a really nice defender. He's an okay shooter, but really struggles with efficiency in the mid range at the rim. Not a great free throw shooter, not a great rebounder. Can't really play make. He's a nice ball handler, and definitely I could see him getting into the average starter position. He could be a rotation piece for any team at this point, but not a huge improvement over his rookie season. Danilo Gallinari is probably more than an average starter, but I'm going to put him here for now. He's a really nice scorer. He can defend. He can play make for others. He can rebound. That's really all you need from a player. Definitely not a super athletic player. And definitely the ball can stop with him occasionally, but, working with Chris Paul in that OKC offense, definitely been a really good player this year. This is Juan Hernan Gomez. He's below average, probably. Nothing too special about him. The Nuggets were using him as a big body. The Wolves really haven't seen much of him on them. He's an okay shooter for a big man. He's an okay playmaker for a big man, but really not a super great defender, not a great rebounder. Carmelo Anthony, I'm gonna put him at an average starter. This is probably one of my favorite players. I love Melo. He's a great scorer still at this point in his career. Definitely not a good defender anymore. Not a good playmaker by any means. But he's just such a nice scorer, such a nice piece for the Blazers who are struggling. He's definitely been a huge plus for them this year. Eric Pascal is probably an average starter. Early in the season he was shooting like 40% from the three. He's fallen off a little bit, but still a nice player, still a nice rookie. Great shooting ability, some raw passing abilities, which are really nice to see. Rui Hachimura, I'm going to put him at below average starter, but definitely borderline with that average starter. I really like that the Wizards drafted this guy. Really nice scorer. He can defend. I really see him getting to that all-star level at some point in his career. Kevin Love's an average starter. Now, I think any given year he could be an all-star, but this year hasn't really been efficient. We haven't seen that Minnesota Kevin Love that everybody wanted to see. Al Horford, I'm going to put him at below average starter. I am really not happy with Al Horford. I mean, I'm a Sixers fan, and I was expecting a lot more playmaking for him, but at the same time, the systems he's playing with, he's not really getting to playmake as much as he would like. He's more of a catch and shoot three guy, and that's really not what he's not what he's best at. Definitely should be involved in the offense a little more, but nonetheless, he's struggled with efficiency. Not really been as great defensively, and his enormous contract is going to be really hard for the Sixers to handle. Jason Tatum's an all-star. I could see him being an MVP candidate next year. I love Jason Tatum's game. He's obviously a great isolation scorer. He can play make a little bit. He's a nice rebounder. He's a really underrated defender. He's really good defensively. Gets in those passing lanes. Definitely an all-star. Marcus Morris, I'm gonna put him at average starter. Marcus Morris is he's underrated. He's a nice scorer. He can defend. He can play make even. Really struggles with efficiency. In that Christmas, I think it was Christmas Day game, he went like 1 for 20 against the Lakers. Or whenever the Lakers played the Clippers last when the Lakers won. Yeah, he just needs to stay a little more consistent. Average 20 points per game with the Knicks. His scoring's been down in the Clippers, but that's to be expected. Jaren Jackson Jr. is an average starter. I think he could achieve all-star level just by like next season. He's a great shooter for a big man, like 40% from three. He comes off screens like Steph Curry and takes those shots and just sinks them. Obviously a great defender. Has a little bit of a fouling issue. I know watching a couple of his games, he's fouled out in many of the games I've watched, but if he gets his fouling under control, gets a little more efficient in the post, definitely an all-star level player. John Collins is similar too. Definitely improved as a 3-point shooter, but just needs to stay a little more consistent. Defensively, he can't really play the 5 at the moment. He's a little undersized, but if he improves defensively, he could reach at all-star level as well. Bam Adebayo is an all-star. I know a lot of people were like surprised, but he's having a breakout season. Definitely him or Brandon Ingram in terms of most improved player of the year. He's improved as a playmaker, improved as a rebounder, improved as a scorer. He's even taking a couple threes. Bam Adebayo making huge leaps. If his handle gets tighter, if he can play make even better, I could see him being an MVP candidate at some point in his career. Now this is interesting. Miles Bridges and PJ Washington are here for the Hornets. I'm going to take PJ Washington considering he's been starting many games for them. He's probably an average starter. I like his 3-point shooting ability for a big man. Definitely surprised everyone. He's not a bad defender either. If he just improves his scoring, gets a little bit stronger, he could definitely stand his ground in the post offensively and defensively. Royce O'Neal, I'm gonna put him at a below average starter. He's definitely played a lot of small forward for the Jazz this year, but power forward as well. He's a really nice shooter, nice defender. That's why he made it into that starting lineup over Joe Ingles. Really lacks playmaking skills, but that's not what he's really asked of. He's really just asked of to defend and shoot. Giannis, obviously an MVP candidate. No, actually, screw up. I'm kidding. MVP candidate Giannis. I mean, not much to say here. He's a really nice inside scorer, a crazy good rebounder for his position. Obviously, all defense, all NBA defender. He can play make. He can. The only thing he can't do is really shoot, but his inside scoring is so dominant that there's nothing anybody can really do. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, comment. I hope this recording worked this time. I'm trying to grow an audience on YouTube. Share this video with all your friends, and